Hello and welcome back to the 𝗬𝗴𝗍𝗀 special, our video series highlighting the best and brightest young talents in world football. I'm Joe Donoghue, senior staff writer here at FourFourTwo and 𝗬𝗏𝗍𝗀 special editor, and in my unbiased opinion, this is a video you simply don't want to miss. That's because the new Premier League season is almost upon us. Yes, already. And there are new players to acquaint ourselves with, of course. While we've been gorging ourselves on the biggest World Cup ever, Premier League sporting directors across the country have been busy finalising deals to freshen up their managers' squads, and some have been busier than others. As is the case every summer, there have been heaps of transfers completed, and not just the ones you've seen Fabrizio Romano tweeting several times a day about. Have a day off, mate. What I've done is I've picked out 3 new names, ones that you mightn't have been aware of before, that I personally can't wait to watch in 2026-27. So, without further ado, Brighton's little-known £21.5 million summer signing has been chasing the Premier League dream since he was 12 years old. And, if we're being honest, like the rest of us, it was probably when he pulled on a pair of football boots for the first time. Nigerian winger Zadok Yohanna, still just 19 years old, left home before he'd even become a teenager to pursue a football career, starting out in Kaduna with the 𝗘𝗫𝗧𝗏 Football Academy. Yohanna's journey and recent rise has been nothing short of remarkable, and crucially for this particular tale, it follows the pathway trodden by many other leading African players of previous generations. The West Africa to Scandinavia pipeline is renowned in scouting circles for its hit rate. Mikel Janobi, Victor Boniface, Mohamed Kudus and Odion Ighalo all followed similar routes, which perhaps explains Johanna's decision to relocate some 230 miles and 6 hours away from home whilst still a boy. So what's so special about Johanna then? Well, for starters, Brighton are very good at scouting. They pore over the data from leagues all over the world and consistently make signings that no other club manages to. And Johanna looks to be the latest from this list. Now, please don't check my maths on this, but his former club, Swedish side AIK, have made a 3,700% profit selling Johanna to Brighton.
Yes, close enough.
And that's despite him only playing 1/2 season of regular football in Stockholm. Johanna didn't play all that much during his first 8 or 9 months at AIK, but as recently as April, he absolutely exploded. Playing off the right-hand side in a 4-3-3 under new coach José Rivero, Johanna's pace and trickery was no match for Allsvenskan defences. And how about this for a breakout? In just 12 appearances and less than 1,000 minutes, Johanna bagged 5 goals and 4 assists for AIK. So, Brighton took the plunge before their rivals did, smashing the Swedish transfer record in the process. Okay, but why is he someone I'm looking forward to seeing in the Premier League? Well, you just have to watch him and that'll become abundantly clear. And that's in addition to the fact that Brighton rarely make mistakes in the transfer market. Typically, you'll see Johanna receive the ball wide on the right before shuffling and wriggling his way into shooting positions on that favoured left foot of his. Sweden's top flight is in no way comparable to the Premier League, I must say that, but the fundamental attributes on show clearly convince Brighton and that data-first approach of theirs that Johanna is well worth the gamble. And if it's good enough for Tony Bloom, Jamestown Analytics and the Brighton recruitment department, then it's good enough for me. Johanna's acceleration, which is often from a standing start by the way, is frightening. He has what can only be described as the wow factor, which is precisely why I can't wait to see him in the Seagulls' blue and white pinstripes this season. In another life, it would have been good to see Johanna join a Bundesliga club, for example, where he would have more than likely become the next 𝗬𝗫𝗏𝗍𝗀 or Bazoumana Touré. But Brighton have decided to get in early and take a punt on him. Now, he might still end up in another major European league, perhaps on loan from Brighton, but rest assured, as soon as Johanna hits the mainstream, you won't be able to take your eyes off him. Did I say Bazoumana Touré there? I think I did, didn't I?
Yeah.
No, as in, that's part of the script.
Oh.
And it's come the way of Toure!
Toure was one of the Bundesliga's breakout stars of last season. And if it weren't for a fella by the name of 𝗬𝗫𝗏𝗍𝗀, we'd probably have heard a lot more about Toure. But his countrymate did a pretty good job of stealing the limelight. 20-year-old Toure joined Hoffenheim from Swedish club Hammarby last year and basically quadrupled his asking price in the space of 12 months. He had a hand in plenty of goals in the Bundesliga, hitting the ground running and putting sporting directors in the Premier League on notice. That notice being, if I keep this up, I won't be here long. He spent less than a year with Hammarby, who made a 10-fold return on their investment when selling to Hoffenheim, and this summer he's done it again, joining Newcastle for €50 million. Toure is similar to Johanna in that he's a pure speedster with end product. And I don't say this lightly, he's genuinely one of the fastest in Europe. And when you come into the league with the quickest, strongest and most physical players, having an edge in one department is absolutely essential. Toure is excellent at running in behind, and unlike some players renowned purely for their quickness over the ground, he actually boasts tangible end product at the end of his team's attacking moves. Unlike Johanna on the opposite flank, it's actually the left-hand side that Toure loves blazing down the side on. He's always asking the question, can you keep up, of his opposing fullback and probably his own as well. The young Ivorian is a prolific dribbler, a very consistent chance creator, and currently riding the crest of a wave, having clinched his big move. Now get this, according to reports in the Ivory Coast at the time of his transfer from ASEC Mimosas to Hammarby in Sweden, Toure's father actually used to work as a milkman in the capital city Abidjan. Of course, we haven't been able to verify that, but if Toure keeps up his Hoffenheim form on Tyneside, I might start saying that delivering the goods is in his DNA. Yep, very, very much a dad joke.
Álvaro Rodriguez. Oh, and he's done very well.
This third and final pick is perhaps the one I'm most excited about, because it could go very right or so wrong. Álvaro Rodriguez has joined Bournemouth from Elche in Spain. And at 22 years old, he's a little bit old for this series, but I hope I make a compelling case over the next couple of minutes as to why I've chosen to break my own rules. Rodriguez is a complete anomaly of a footballer. He's big, very big, 6'4" tall big, and he's not what you'd describe as a striker. Despite a half-decent goals record in La Liga, he's not one who scores a lot, and that's fine, because of what he does that others can't. As you might have guessed from his height, he's a handful. Rodriguez plucks balls out of the air like it's nobody's business, which is always a useful trait to have because it gives coaches an alternative style to play if plan A tiki-taka doesn't exactly work out. Pump it up to the big man, let him control it on his chest while shielding it from the opposition. Job's a good 'un. I know 𝗈𝗓𝗍𝗓𝗔𝗍 is going to be injured for the first few months of the 26-27 season, but wait till he comes back and plays alongside Rodriguez. We're bringing back the big man little man combo on the South Coast. And people far more qualified than me to assess players have shared their thoughts on it being a pretty prolific partnership. So watch this space. But there's much more to life than winning the ball in the air, and that's not all Rodriguez can do. He's actually a great dribbler too. Great at driving with the ball at his feet, especially when he's given the opportunity to. There's pretty much nobody else in European football doing what he does, combining these two attributes, aerial strength and beating a man with his technical ability, to such a degree. He's ex-Real Madrid and now he's moving to 𝗘𝗫𝗀𝗏 Stadium. It'll probably be a shock to the system, but Rodriguez will be dishing out his fair share of shocks to Premier League centre-halves as well. Genuinely, I can't wait to watch all three of these picks. They might flourish, they might find that the environment doesn't suit them, and they could tank completely. So I'll be happy if one of these predictions comes true. I guess all that's left to say is, here we go again, Premier League 26-27 edition.